Hello friends, it's me again, Joseph, your host, and welcome back to our channel where we hear fascinating stories of our saints. Today, we're going to hear a beautiful story about a very special saint who lived a life that was quiet, humble, and full of hidden love for God. His name is Saint John Calybite, and his feast day is on January 15th. Are you ready to meet him? Let's begin. Imagine living in a big, beautiful house with loving parents who give you everything you could ever want. Nice clothes, delicious food, and all the comforts of a wealthy life. That's how our story starts, with a young man named John who had all of this and more. He was born in a great city called Constantinople, which today is known as Istanbul, way back in the 5th century. Now, you might think John was the luckiest boy in the world. And in many ways, he was. His parents adored him. But as John grew up, he realized something important. He felt a little voice in his heart telling him that all the money and nice things in the world couldn't make him as happy as loving God could. He read the Gospels and was so moved by the life of Jesus that he wanted to follow him as closely as possible. So one day, John made a very brave decision, decided to leave his comfortable home behind. He didn't tell his parents where he was going, which must have been so hard for him and for them. Traveled to a monastery far away, a place where monks live simple lives dedicated to prayer and work. There, John became a monk. He gave away his fine clothes and embraced a life of poverty. He spent his days praying, fasting, and working hard, not for money or fame, but for the love of God. He was happy, truly happy, because he felt closer to God than ever before. After several years living as a monk, John felt that same little voice in his heart again. This time, God was calling him to do something even more surprising. He felt called to return to his home city of Constantinople. But he wasn't going back to his old life of comfort. No, he was going back in a completely different way. John dressed in the simple, worn-out clothes of a beggar. His face had changed from years of prayer and fasting, and no one from his past would recognize him. He journeyed back and arrived at the very gate of his own family's grand house. He, who was the son of the master of the house, now stood outside as a poor, unknown stranger. His heart must have been beating so fast. He saw his parents, but he didn't run to them and say, "I'm home." Instead, he quietly asked if he could have a small place to stay. His parents, not knowing who he was, felt compassion for the poor man at their gate. They had a small hut built for him, a simple shelter, and they would send him scraps of food from their table. They were kind to a stranger, never suspecting he was their own long-lost son. John lived in that little hut for many years. Think about that for a moment. He was right there, so close to the family he loved, but he chose to remain hidden. He endured hunger, cold, and loneliness, all without a single complaint. He offered up all his quiet sufferings as a prayer to God. He wasn't looking for attention or praise from anyone. His reward was knowing that he was doing exactly what God wanted him to do. He found joy in this hidden life of humility and sacrifice. This is what the name Calybite means. It means hut dweller. John became the humble hut dweller at his own family's gate. As the years passed, John grew weaker. He knew his time on earth was coming to an end. He felt it was finally time to reveal his secret. He sent a message to his mother, asking her to come and visit the poor beggar in the hut. When she came, he showed her a special book, a copy of the Gospels that his parents had given him when he was just a boy. He had kept it with him all those years. As his mother looked at the book and then into his eyes, she finally understood. This was her son, her beloved John. Her heart broke with both sorrow and immense love. She and her husband rushed to his side, weeping and embracing the son they had missed for so long. It was a moment of incredible sadness, but also of profound grace. They finally understood the incredible sacrifice he had made. Soon after, Saint John Calybite passed away peacefully, surrounded by his family. His parents, filled with awe at his holiness, buried him with great honor. The story of his hidden life of humility and love spread quickly throughout the city. People were amazed that someone could give up so much for God and live in such a quiet, unassuming way. His life showed everyone that the greatest victories are often the ones hidden from the world. So what can we learn from Saint John's incredible story? First, he teaches us that holiness isn't about being famous or having everyone know your name. It's about loving God with your whole heart, even when no one is watching. John was happy to love God in secret. What matters isn't what others think of us, but how we live for God in the quiet moments of our day. Second, his story makes us think about what's truly important. We all have things we hold on to, comforts, favorite toys, or maybe even wanting people to praise us. Saint John shows us that true joy comes from letting go of these things and trusting God completely. A simple life can be a very strong and happy life when it's filled with faith. Third, John's life reminds us to be kind to everyone, especially those who seem forgotten or lonely. His own parents showed kindness to a stranger at their gate, not knowing it was their son. We are called to open our hearts and our homes to others, because every person we meet is a precious gift from God. Even though Saint John lived so long ago, his story is still so important for us today. He is the patron saint of hospitality and of those who are homeless. He reminds us that even if we feel unnoticed, God sees us. God sees every small act of kindness, every quiet prayer, and every little sacrifice we make for him. In the eyes of God, no good deed is ever forgotten. So let's try to be a little more like Saint John Calybite. Let's look for small, quiet ways to show our love for God and for others. Maybe it's helping with a chore without being asked, sharing something with a friend, or saying a quiet prayer for someone in need. These simple acts of love are what make our lives beautiful in God's eyes. Thank you so much for joining me to learn about the amazing life of Saint John Calybite. His story shows us that a life hidden with God is never a life wasted. It's a life full of beauty, meaning, and true strength. If you were inspired by his story, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and consider subscribing for more stories about the saints. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. How can you live your faith in small, quiet ways this week? Thanks for watching, see you next time, and may God bless you and keep you always.